All right, everybody, this is Living in Arizona Now, and we're going to do an off-road trek up to a really cool cabin, which you're going to want to stick around till the end for. This is also an Arizona check. Wherever you're watching from, drop us a comment and let us know just where you're tuning in from. And crush up the likes if you like to off-road in Arizona. Let's get started. All right, what's going on, everybody? As you can see, we've got a new vehicle. It's no longer the Jeep Grand Cherokee. It is a Ford Raptor. We're out here in Box Canyon, ripping around in the Raptor, going through some sand. We're in Baja mode, and it's just handling like an absolute champ. That's when this car really comes to life, and that's why we got it, is for these off-road trails. I'm in manual right now. So I'm not in automatic, but we're in four-wheel drive Baja, and check this out. Look at this beautiful place we're out here exploring thanks to this Raptor. It's not even a sweat off our back. I mean, you can see just how solid it is. As you can see, the roads don't look too bad right now, but wait until we get deep into Box Canyon. If this is your first time to Living in Arizona Now, you can subscribe and turn on the bell to get notified when we drop a new video. So here we are entering into Box Canyon. You can see there's cliff faces on each side. I mean, it just makes you wonder who used to live here back in the day. Well, we know it was the Apaches, but you never know where you may find some Indian ruins or some sort of archaeological past. There's a lot of caves back here, and I can't help but wonder where the mountain lions and bobcats are. Lots of vultures. Another thing you'll see when you're back here is cows and steers. We'll be going by a couple of those in this video. And here's where the road really starts to get rough and rocky. You'll see this Raptor handles pretty good. It is a bit wide for a canyon like this. A Jeep Wrangler might be a better vehicle, or obviously an ATV or some sort of dune buggy. But definitely having a lifted vehicle is good here, or something with a skid plate. So depending on your vehicle, it'll depend on how long it takes you to transit this Box Canyon area before you get into Martinez Canyon, which is actually where the Martinez Cabin is. Beyond the Martinez Cabin, there is a mine. We actually didn't go up to that mine, but it's not too far past the cabin. But anyways, we'll keep trekking here through Box Canyon as we approach Martinez Canyon. As you can see, you get a lot of Arizona pinstripes. For those of you who don't know what an Arizona pinstripe is, it's basically where a cat claw or a mesquite tree or some other tree puts lines or scratches along the side of your truck. Being that I have a black Ford Raptor, I do get quite a few Arizona pinstripes. The cool thing is they do buff out, or they do come out in a wash typically, unless you actually take off the clear coat and scratch the paint, which is different than an Arizona pinstripe from a tree or a bush. Here's a prime example of some of that caliche hard dirt or hard clay. It's just basically like rock, but it's more of a hard clay. Now when it comes to this Box Canyon here, I will say it is got some rough areas and some rough patches, but it's not the worst that we see on this trek. It does get worse, especially as we start going deeper into the Martinez Canyon. We were trying to head out to the coke ovens, but we came to a stretch of road that was just basically impassable. You'll see that later on in this video. But we were trying to do Martinez Cabin and the coke ovens together. Well, we've already climbed some pretty big rocks. It's really cool back here. I mean, I'll say that. Box Canyon's definitely a cool place to off-road. But you do need a 4x4 for back here. There is no doubt about it. want to say back here, this isn't a novice off-road trail. This is probably as close to you know, four-wheel drive absolute necessary as you could possibly find. Full-on 4x4. I mean, look at this just even these windy little gaps here, kind of crazy. But going over the rocks, it's the rock crawling that'll really throw you off. All right, so once you get off this cattle guard here, you're out of stage one. There's like 3 stages to this. So that canyon, and now you're going to be going through like a river bed, and we're gonna actually climb up to this place called 5 Points, and that'll be a pretty good vantage point we'll be able to give you. So this here is a historical building. It's an old adobe house, it looks like. I saw someone post a picture of what it looked like 25 years ago when it had a roof and the actual patio area. Unfortunately now it's, as you can see, the condition is not so ideal, but they have decided to attempt to preserve it. Oh yeah, we're out here in Box Canyon. You can see there's an old cement pad here, obviously an abandoned building that's been flattened, the bricks right here and the cement. And then over here you have some retention wall, and above that it looks like some sort of well or trough. But nowadays it's obviously uninhabited. Some people have had a fire here, but the only thing that comes up here nowadays is cows, as you can see with all these cow patties right here. This area called 5 Points. You actually got to go up this really steep hillside, and if you're well, if you're afraid of heights, maybe not so ideal. This is definitely a treacherous road, I would say. Camera wasn't able to capture all of the cliff drop-offs that you would see on this road, but you get the idea. Anyways, we stopped up here. We didn't quite go all the way up to 5 Points. The reason is because we did see some storm clouds brewing, and we didn't want to get caught in a flash flood up here. So anytime you're up here and you start seeing these gray clouds building, especially when you're in a canyon like that, flash flood zone. It did actually rain last night out in southeast Phoenix, so it just didn't come down too hard out there. Yeah, as you could see, these big gray clouds building there. It was ominous. This was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The storm probably ended up coming down about 5 o'clock. We maybe kind of rolled the dice going out here, considering it could have flash flooded on us, but nonetheless, we were fine. But here's where it starts to get real sketchy Beyond this point, I guess you could call this stage 3 to the trail. Once you go through this, what is called like a saddle, once you go across this saddle area here past this cattle guard, it gets real scenic, but it gets real sketchy with the road. And you can see out in these flats, they've got some troughs, lots of cattle back here. You'll see plenty of cattle, that's for dang sure. Sometimes you'll even see cattle that look like they either died of old age or starvation, or maybe they got sick, but we definitely saw a few bag of bones, basically inside of that rawhide that you would see 1 or 2 of them on the side of the road. I will say this, if I was an Apache Indian back in the 1500s or the 1400s, I would have lived in this exact same spot here. Absolutely beautiful. This location right here back in the canyons. And right here actually was probably my least favorite rock to crawl. There was a couple of them. I mean, this one and maybe a couple others that we didn't film, but this one here definitely caused me some stress as the driver. All right, now as we are getting deeper into the Martinez Cabin here, we will be approaching the area where you park and then hike in. So it's a park and hike. The hike itself is maybe a 1/4 of a mile or a 1/2 a mile into this gully, this river bed. It's pretty lush in there, but it definitely makes you wonder if there's a mountain lion in there or a bobcat, who knows. But you can see it's very lush, lots of saguaros and other cactuses back here. It's just like a spring, really nice canyon area. Like I said, makes you wonder who used to live back here. The miners actually were back here in the late 1800s, early 1900s, but even before that, who would have lived back in here, right? In these caves. So here you see the actual trailhead. You can't go beyond this point, no motor vehicles obviously, but this is where you start hiking in. So after about a 20 to 30 minute hike, we finally arrived at the cabin. And you'll be able to see here, this is the area where they would have slept, or maybe even like a stagecoach pass. I'm not exactly sure. I tried to do some history online. There was a mine beyond this, which we didn't actually check out, but you could see here's the abandoned Martinez Cabin. It's cool because, you know, thinking about who would have lived in this area, and I say it's boondocks, it's literally the middle of nowhere, no cell phone service. It's just, you're buried deep in the mountain range here. The closest town to this point is no longer Florence, it's probably Superior. And now we are headed out. We got to turn back around and go back the same way we came in. I will say it is a little bit easier going out than coming in. And the reason I think it's the case is because we know what to expect and we know how to handle the rocks after having gone over them. But definitely going back is faster than coming in. It does take a little bit longer coming in because you don't know what to expect, you know. Anyways, if this is your first time to the channel, you can crush up the likes for us. Give us a like. Drop a comment in the comments below letting us know where you're watching from, and also where you'd like us to make some videos from moving forward, whether you'd like us to do more off-roading, more road trips, more hikes. Let us definitely know, more city tours. And also, if it is your first time to the channel, you can subscribe and turn on the bell and watch some of these other videos we've posted already on the channel.